Hi guys, welcome back. I know it's been a while. It has been a while. It's probably been, I want to say, probably 10 months or so since I've last uploaded a video. I remember at that time, around that time of me uploading the last 3 videos, it was around the time when I was writing blogs, or I was blogging rather, and I knew that the recordings and the blogging actually was going to be the last. I didn't know if it was going to be a permanent thing, but I knew that the Lord had laid it upon my heart that it will be my last blogging and uploading videos. Little did I know that I will be going on a journey. Not long after that, I initially thought, in fact, that when I had stopped the videos, I thought it was tied to a Bible study that I had started. So the Lord had laid it upon my heart months before that to start a Bible study, generally for people who struggled to read the Bible, understand the Bible, not having a type of method to use. So kind of studying the scripture, observing it, applying it to your daily life, etc., etc. So I started a Bible study basically on that type of framework for those who struggled or who weren't getting into the Bible, because of course, how can we know who God is or understand his will for our life if we are not in his word? And if we are not doers of the word as well. We can read his word, but if we're not applying it to our daily life, then how can any changes be taking place within us, within our hearts, in order for us to be able to hear from God? So anyway, I had started a Bible study, a very small Bible study, after uploading the videos. Yes, the Bible study still was going ahead, but he was, as he does, he was bringing me on a journey that saw a broken season. A journey that had, when we come to the Lord, I think David actually says in one of the Psalms about searching his heart, says, "Search my heart, O Lord." And the basis of that was that to expose anything that wasn't of the Lord. And in the season that the Lord brought me into, it was very much about exposing things of my heart. The reason why the YouTube videos actually stopped was based on the fact that I was becoming very proud. I was becoming very proud because I knew that the Lord was using me, and I knew that he was giving me understanding and knowledge. Now, there's nothing wrong with having understanding and knowledge, but what's very important is the posture of our hearts and our relationship and intimacy with the Lord. Did I have the relationship with the Lord? Yes, but I wasn't as close as I thought I was. And I thought I was close to him, but I wasn't as close to him as I thought it was. And I didn't appreciate the closeness that was required from me until the Lord brought me into a place of brokenness. Now, it's a type of brokenness that everyone has to go through. For anyone that desires to draw close to the Lord, the Bible says, "Draw close to me and I will draw close to you." Now, in order for us to come to know who Christ is, for us to actually have intimacy, true intimacy, the Lord has to bring us to a place where he strips away what we think we are, and he shows us who we really are in him. I posted something not too long ago, and not on social media because I'm not on social media. I dislike it to my very core. But I posted it on my WhatsApp status, and I said something like, salvation is not about reinventing yourself. Salvation is about the Lord stripping away all that you think you are, or all that you think the world told you you are. And it's about the Lord rebuilding you into the person he says you are. And my issue was very much about kind of holding on to who I was. So holding on to my accolades, holding on to my status, holding on to money, holding on to the very things that I guess in some ways my career built me into. And what I used to do, and I heavily relied on this a lot, to be honest, in terms of who I became, in terms of my career. Reason being was because I had found that people that I had interacted with, and not necessarily close people, had nothing to do with that, but what I had found was people that I had interacted with had a preconceived idea of me, or they misunderstood me without actually getting to know me, without real in-depth conversations. For anyone that has been misunderstood or has recognized that it was a preconceived notion, then you'll know what I'm referring to. And so because of that, I felt like it was my duty to change people's preconceived ideas of me by sharing my achievements and what I had kind of developed into, if you like, it all based on status, where I set milestones for myself and I would hit it, and so I would use that because I saw how people's interactions were with me, and I almost felt like it was my duty to try and change their mind by sharing my achievements. And the Lord had to show me I need to stop doing that. But equally as well, it's not who I am. That is not who I am. And he made me to know that I am not what the world says that I am. And he has shown me how precious I am to him. He has shown me how much I am loved by him. He has shown me that I am not only a child of God, I am a daughter of a king. I am a co-heir with Christ. And he is proud of my faithfulness. The season that the Lord brought me in was a place of brokenness, and I'm going to use that title of Tasha Cobb's song, Gracefully Broken. That truly was the case for me. I had gone through a lot this year, and I felt like it was happening in all areas of my life. It felt like a Job moment. For anyone who knows the story of Job, he lost everything. He lost his health, he lost his kids, he lost his livelihood, he lost everything. And it really felt like that for me, just in terms of everything that I was experiencing was happening in all corners. And just like the Lord showed me in Israel, just like the Lord showed me when I came out of my job, just in everything, the Lord has shown me about what dependability looks like on him. And in this moment of brokenness, I had to learn what it means to depend on him and him alone, not on anybody else. And normally what I would do is would pick up the phone and speak to whoever to kind of talk me through how I'm feeling, etc. The Lord showed me in the brokenness that he should be the person that I need to turn to. Now, I appreciate not everyone is in this space. I appreciate there are people who are like what I was like, or will pick up the phone, speak through, etc. But what I had learned in my brokenness is that it's only the Lord that is able to lead me through the valley and bringing me onto the other side. People will have their opinions, people will have advice, etc. But it might not be from the Lord. It might just be from their own personal viewpoints that will probably direct you in the wrong space that the Lord doesn't want you to be in. Who best to know where you're supposed to go but the Lord himself? And so what he had showed me was how much my dependability needs to be in him and not in anybody else. Not only that, but in that dependency would have cultivated the type of intimacy that he has been desiring from me, i.e. him first, i.e. acknowledge him in all my ways, i.e. not leaning on my own understanding, i.e. trusting in him completely. And as I said, I was in a place where I was very much dependent on accolades, achievements, etc. The Lord had to bring me through this place to, again, strip away who I thought I was, strip away what people have said that I am, and really the Lord's really building me into me relying on him in a way that I'm supposed to rely on him. That to show me that he is my source of strength. He is my source of strength in absolutely everything. He is the one that I go to. He's the one that I run to. He's the one that I have safety in. He is the one that provides all my needs, provides all my needs. And I mean all my needs. And Matthew chapter 7, I think it's Matthew chapter 7 or Matthew chapter 6 actually, but it really comes to life about do not worry about tomorrow. How much more does he think about us if he's feeding the birds of the air and clothing the lilies? How much more us would he do for us? So not to worry about tomorrow, but we have to focus in everything. We have to keep our eyes fixed on the Lord. And in this brokenness, he's shown me what it means to really keep my eyes fixed on him. I'm thinking about, I think it's Romans 12:2, which says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And when I think about the renewing of our minds, I think about the helmet of salvation. Every day we are walking in salvation, every single day. And if we're saying we're saved, then our minds need to be transformed into the fact that we are walking in that salvation. And if we're walking in that salvation, that means we know what the word says, that he has set us free from all bondages. That there is no condemnation. We are set free. Who Jesus sets free is free indeed. Which means if we are free and we recognize that we are free, then we need to walk in that transformation in our minds. Our mind needs to be transformed to that way of thinking. And if our mind is transformed into that way of thinking, that means there is going to be a desire even more so just to lean on him and him alone. And that's where I've come to, is understanding where the Lord is calling me to. Very much like the early church. If we think about the early church, when Paul is converted, we see the disciples, we see a lot of what Paul talks to the churches through the epistles about. So when we're reading the epistles, we see what Paul is kind of demonstrating to the church about how we should be, which is Christ-like. But what we see in the epistles and in the disciples who are kind of leading the way is their life is simple. There are no thrills. Some were going homeless, probably not all the time, but some were going homeless. Some went without food for days. But it was the Lord who was supplying their needs. Now, I'm not saying that the Lord is bringing me into that place of no food, being homeless. That's not the case at all. But with those disciples and Paul, they realized that their reliance wasn't on comfort. Their reliance wasn't on food. Their reliance and their sustenance was in Christ. And so because the Lord is bringing me to a place of simplicity, I too need to be relying on him for sustenance. I too need to be relying on him for provisions. I too need to be relying on him for all things to be subjected to him. And when that comes, it comes through us surrendering, that we are no longer in control. I'm laughing because it's actually such an illusion when we really think about it, where we say we want to be in control, or we think we're in control. We're really not. We're really not in control at all. We can't predict what the next day is going to be like. I can't predict what the rest of this day is going to be like. So we're definitely not in control of how our day will be, but only the Lord knows. So we need to be in a place where we're prepared to let go of control and submit our day into the hands who holds everything in his hands. He holds time. The Lord has brought me to a place where big time needs to be spent more wisely. I see time like currency, and just like money, if we spend our money unwisely, we spend it on frivolous things. The same with time. If we don't spend our time wisely, we're spending it on frivolous things. It could be, some people would say, no, I'm not spending it on frivolous things. I'm actually serving the Lord. I'm doing this ministry, that ministry, X ministry, whatever. I'm busy for the Lord. My question is, did the Lord bring you into the place of being busy for him like that? Because the answer is probably no. The Lord requires intimacy, and he requires a heart that is postured to him and a desire to abide with him and spend time with him. The same way how we would if we were for me, I'm in a marriage. My husband and I would probably want to spend time together. We'd spend time together. Someone who is dating, you're going to spend time with the person who you're dating, etc. The Lord wants the exact same thing. He wants intimacy. He wants us to be able to spend time with him. He wants us to get to know him. If we are busying ourselves in ministry, so much so where time with him is neglected, then it's not of the Lord. And if it's not of the Lord, then we have to start thinking about who are we being busy for? Because the chances are we're doing it for ourselves because we want to be recognized, because we want people to say, oh, so-and-so is really faithful because they're doing XYZ. So-and-so is really brilliant and obedient because they're doing XYZ. These times the Lord didn't ask you to do that. Didn't ask me to do that. So we need to start assessing when we're saying we're being busy for the Lord, what are we being busy for and who are we doing it for? Again, as I was saying, the period of brokenness or this period of time that I've had away where the Lord has kind of brought me on this really beautiful, and I am calling it beautiful, this really beautiful journey where he's really displayed such wonderful kindness, such love, such mercy. I'm telling you, miracles and answered prayers that just all the while just makes you to know there is absolutely nothing to worry about. And it doesn't matter where the enemy will try to spew lies to you or try to put fear into your heart. When you go through brokenness and you really see the hand of the Lord, it is after that when you continue to keep going through trials and tribulations, because that will happen, you'll be so much stronger because you already know who your God is. You already know who he is because you saw his hand through that journey that you've been on. And he's taking you through and he's bringing you closer and closer and he's strengthening you each day. Now, there are some people who will disregard the hand of the Lord. Some people will say that they don't want to go through this space of brokenness. Some people will say, well, if you knew my life, you would know that I've already gone through brokenness. My question would be, if you've gone through brokenness, has it been that you've been in the Lord and you've been broken? And did you remain faithful, and did you remain obedient? Did you choose to follow the Lord to the point where now you have peace that really does surpass understanding? Or are you saying that you were broken, but you weren't in the Lord, but you've gone through a lot of stuff? They're completely different things. Completely different things. Brokenness brings you to a place of submission, especially if you're saying that you want to be more like Christ. The Lord has to strip away the I, the me, and he has to be the focal point. He has to be the priority. It just has to be. There's no two people on the throne. Someone has to be on the throne, and it has to be Christ. I think about when Jesus was baptizing, I'm assuming it's his disciples, but he was baptizing people. And John's disciples were complaining that Jesus was baptizing. And they went to John and they started complaining to him. A part of John's response was, I must decrease, that he must increase. That should be a thought process for all of us in our lives who say that we follow the Lord, who say that they want to be in a place of surrenderance to the Lord. He must increase and we must decrease. There can't be two of us on a throne. It's not going to work. It has to be one. And you will learn this when you do go through the brokenness. I'm telling you, you're going to learn humility. If proud, actually, everyone has pride, to be honest. But you're going to learn humility. You're going to learn compassion. And I'm not saying I didn't have compassion before, but I think we need to look at what compassion actually looks like. Because when you read through the Gospels and you see Christ's ministry, throughout his ministry, he displays compassion. He's not pitying somebody or having empathy for somebody. He's actually serving them in a way through healing, raising people from the dead, providing miracles, multiplying in terms of feeding. There's so many different, and he's teaching. That in itself, we're seeing the compassion of Christ. When you read the Gospels and you see his ministry, it's full of love and compassion. Full of love and compassion for souls. And so I think once upon a time I used to think that compassion was more about giving empathy to somebody in their need, or sympathy, like really coming alongside somebody who's really hurting or whatever. But it's an addition to that. It's providing a service in a place where you see there's a need, where you see there's a lost soul. You preach in the gospel. Where you see someone's in the valley, you walk alongside of them, you pray with them, you read scriptures with them, you encourage them. That's the compassion of Christ, and that's where the Lord wants to bring us. And so I share all of this because, as I said, I came off of YouTube because the Lord told me to. The Lord has brought me on a journey, and now I'm back on YouTube. But I am praying that this will be such an encouragement to you. Such an encouragement to you. Because for those who are going through their broken period, so worth it. So worth it. Especially where the Lord is bringing you to. He's bringing you to a place where you draw closer to him. And that's all that really matters. And he's going to bring you to a place where it really is, if he's not doing it now, he will do it soon. I pray if you are willing and want to let him do it, it's going to bring you to a place where it's just about the simple things. It's going to be things you're not even interested in doing anymore. Things that you used to do, you're not going to care for anymore, because you are slowly letting go of this world. And you are being prepared and being readied from when Christ comes. Some people are not going to recognize this, and that's absolutely fine. But for those that do, keep holding on to the hem of his garment and continue to keep being faithful. I think of Philippians chapter 3. That chapter really does speak to me, And I pray that you too will read this and be encouraged by this if you are, in fact, going in this season. I thank the Lord that he's bringing me out of a season, but I also appreciate that he's bringing me into a season that is, again, about him, but equally as well about encouraging people in the faith. Bless you. I'll pray for you. And hopefully, God willing, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.